Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my deal win Crashout. So, today I wanted to talk a little bit about victimization, and it's this concept that things are outside of your control and it sucks, and I shouldn't do anything because of it, right? It's a demotivator, it makes things harder to do, and it's a completely fair statement, and also a fair thought, honestly, that while I was born in the slums, it's really difficult for me to get access to education. The other people around me are devaluing this idea of education. It sucks to be smart. I am easy to pick on. I have other inhibitors. I need to be strong. I need to be fit or fast. I even when I mind my own business, people have a lot of judgment for what I have to do, and these are difficult situations to be in. It is a objectively harder life to live if you have less privilege. And despite that, I still don't believe that it is fair to strip away what you can do. It's this idea of ultimatums where, wow, your situation sucks and you could do something, or your situation sucks and you can let it beat it up and you can do nothing. In which it's a lot easier to do nothing than to do something. And when somebody is feeling down in the dumps and depressed, which is defined as having no motivation to do things, it really is the last thing that you want to hear to just say, hey, do something. But there's nothing else that you can really do. There's a big, and sweeping generalization that you can give to people. And it's just you can't motivate other individuals. You can give the best advice in the world, and if it falls on ears that are not willing to hear it, the advice is worth nothing. The things that we do are only as worthy as the actions that are consequent of them, right? I can train and do fitness every single day, and my body, if it for some reason never changes or adapts to that stress, all it sharpens is my mind. And if I forget those experiences ever happened, and for some reason I never retain it, then it doesn't really sharpen my mind either. So that is everything to say that yes, motivation is a big issue. But I honestly don't see it as a real intangible thing. Motivation is just doing things. People always read these amazing stories of this person got so inspired and this person just took action and everything was great and they didn't even have to think about it. They just did. But motivation isn't something that you can hold in your hand. It's not something that you can necessarily give to someone else. You give really good advice, and that person becomes motivated because their thinking got reframed. And you could say, sure, I did give it to that person. But ultimately, that person decided for themselves that whatever they were hearing was worthwhile of acting upon. So, I'm getting into semantics. The general idea is you need to believe, even if it's not true, that you are in control of your life and your circumstances. And how you go about doing that is ultimately up to you. But that's the big takeaway, that you are in control. And you really need to believe that. There's a good talk out there. I forget who said it, but it was about why we hate billionaires as a blanket statement. And frankly, they're not doing anything wrong, right? They just want to get money and get rich. And sure, we can judge them from the outside and say you treated these people poorly, but it might just be in the interest of business. Whether it was a good business decision or they treated a bunch of people really bad, and it was just a personal preference. Frankly, the wealth buys them the power to do those things, to give and to take away. That is some of the pain in the system of capitalism. If you don't like the idea that people are going to hire a bunch of people and then see, oh, okay, let's see how little people I can still get the same stuff done with. That's business. That's capitalism. That's an optimization problem. That's any engineering feat ever. You don't like that AI is taking over the world? Beat the curve and use the tools as leverage. And unfortunately, we're now experiencing a technological divide between people who do have access to these tools and people who don't, where people who do can achieve so much more in a smaller amount of time and replace the people who genuinely put their head down and work on something that we would consider meaningful, worthwhile, or honorable. But I'm getting off track. People will chase the money instead of God. Oh well. But the bottom line is, you need to believe that you're in control. Yes? You also need to recognize things that are outside of your control. The best sport advice that I ever got was control the controllables. I did soccer and track and field, and I was always so worried. Oh, the wind is off. My pace is going to be different. Or what if I miss this? What if this happens? What if someone just shoots it around me? Do I drop back? Do I stay on my man? And frankly, you're not always going to know the answer. And I've covered it in a different video, but that's completely okay. You take a guess, you make a mistake. That mistake is going to cost something, and it always will. But the best thing that you can do is to make good of that mistake and do your best to make sure that it doesn't happen again. Because more mistakes will cost you more. And you don't want things to cost you. And it can be as simple as that. Where, yes, mistakes suck and they cost you. And no, they're not always reparable. Frankly, mistakes never are really reparable. You make a mistake, you learn. If you keep making that mistake, you keep spending more time, and that sucks, right? If you make a mistake in the classroom, your grade is stuck like that most likely forever. Someone can change it, and you can get lucky, or you can do better on a test, and it can be like the mistake was never there, but you had to do better on the test, and that meant it costed you more. Maybe. I don't really know how you guys study, but the bottom line is, that's all variables that you have to deal with. When I run and the wind is good or the wind is bad, it's something which is outside of my control, but it still influences me. And that's kind of the point, where if someone is born in the slums or the burbs, then those things still have an influence on them, even though you can't control it. Life is unfair, and that's how it is. And yes, you can advocate for it, and I honestly believe you should. This challenge, and so is everything in life, is about personal advocacy. I'm trying to convince you that you should take a bet on me to give me a job, or that you should spend your time listening to me because there might be something that's really insightful or useful over anything else that you could be doing in your day. These are variables at play. Whether you like it or not, whether you realize it or not, these are things and decisions that you make every single day. You're in control. I can get really mad at Instagram for making these really good algorithms that seem to know me better than I know myself and tell me what to believe and what to want, and it actually tells me the stuff that I want to continue to agree with and then still gives me slop about that. But that is also within your control. The stuff that you engage with is reflected in your algorithm, which is unique to you. If you want to find stuff that makes you angry and that you disagree with and you keep engaging with that, it's going to give you, most likely, more stuff that makes you angry and that you disagree with. But the important part of that is recognizing that you are in control of the algorithm, not the algorithm is controlling you. This might be a personal pet peeve of mine, but in relationships too, I know that there's this anxiety of stuff as simple as, where do I want to get food today with me and my friends, or if you have a significant other, to stuff as complicated as, I don't know what I want to do with my future. And that is when you wish you didn't have control. A lot of people who are in positions of power have fun or enjoy their time by relinquishing that control. That can be gambling. That could be having somebody else tell them what to do, or doing something randomized in order to find something and following that. And it weighs on you to have this thought that you're always in control. That's why it's so easy to go on your phone and doom scroll and to just scroll in general, because the content comes to you. You don't have to actively search for the content. And I'm not telling you to live every single waking moment of your life with this stream of consciousness, because frankly, that's a lot of effort. effort that people aren't always willing to put in. But as a generality, I am telling you to realize that you're in control of your circumstances and to take accountability for your actions, the risks that you take, and manage them. You will spend time on things. You will develop things. Maybe you make mistakes. You get injured in the gym. You make a mistake at work, and somebody else has to make up for it with their time and their effort. Nothing is truly free in this world. That doesn't mean that you can't make mistakes, but that does mean that at some point, everything is finite. Things will weigh on you by making those mistakes, and they will cost something. Make good of them. Realize that you're in control of whether or not you make a mistake, no matter how unfair it is, right? I accidentally deleted the entire database at my internship. I simply did not know that that's exactly what it was going to do, but it happened anyway, and now millions of dollars of data are missing. Or maybe it's a really long download time, because they should have a backup. The bottom line is that costs something. That's worth money and time and resources, and it always is going to cost something. That is how it is. And even if you didn't know any better, you do have to recognize that you were in control of your circumstances. That was something that was within your power to change. You are going to watch me die in about 40 seconds, and I am telling you that I was within control of the entire situation. And taking accountability is realizing that, hey, maybe I shouldn't have been so aggressive. I could have ran away, I could have rotated, but I didn't think better in that moment. Next time I boot up Fortnite to make a video like this, I'm going to try to be better and recognize that. But I also take opportunity in not being perfect, because these videos aren't about being perfect. They're about being authentic and trying not to fake that as much as I can. Being vulnerable and open to criticism, and hopefully giving somebody out there in the world insights, or at least something to be mad at, and see how anyone would ever engage with this content. But the takeaway of today, you're in control of your situations and your circumstances. Recognize it, take accountability, try to be better. Have a great day. I will see you all tomorrow.